Shalom, this is Kabash Banyasharala, and before I hop to today's lesson, I want to give all honor, glory, and praises to the Most High in the name of His Son, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, in the true Paleo Hebrew tongue. Ka Halayim La Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ha Bakah Kodash Ma'amaf. I want to give a double honor to the apostles, the elders, the GMS who rule well and teach well. I want to give a double honor to my elder as well, Aharawan Banyasharala of the Lions Den Camp here in Jacksonville, Florida. And I want to say shalom to the Akim around the four corners of the globe, pushing the truth, sincerity around the four corners of the globe. And with that being said, this lesson is going into the topic of not offending those of the Lord. And I'm doing this lesson because of an altercation I got in earlier today. Long story short, it's a learning experience. Even though it was an adverse situation, we're always supposed to bring forth righteous works. So, some edifications to come out of this through the spirit. Moral to the story, I was in the stove. My phone died. I had a battery pack on me to charge it, but I needed a cord. I forgot my cord at the house, and I was gonna buy a cord. Well, I went to the store, told the dude the charger I need. He sold me the wrong charger, and I didn't know until I opened the thing. And Buddy was already kind of feeling some type of way because while I was in there buying the cord, somebody was in there stealing stuff and eating it in his face. So I understand your frustrations, but he proceeded to take it out on me when I opened up the charger outside the stove, found out it wasn't the right charger. And I went and told him about it. He just came at me crazy. And he did get under my skin. He had me feeling some type of way about it for a little bit of time after that altercation, But and that's where this list is stemming from. Rather than, move carnally, we have every right to be mad, upset, this, that, and the third, Especially when we do nothing to deserve these things, but we can't allow our feelings to dictate how we move. And that's more so the topic I'm speaking on. So we're to trust in the Lord for protection, guidance, and deliverance. Especially in situations like that, because our faith is constantly being tried. So as long as we maintain our spiritual composure, the Lord has us covered no matter the situation. When I say our spiritual composure, I'm going into can't lose our cool. We got to stay level-headed. Keep our mind focused on what the Lord expects out of us, what the things the Lord taught us. Keep our mind focused on righteous, navigating, governing ourselves righteously through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. We're to trust in the wisdom bestowed upon us by Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai and move accordingly. Moral to the story. Because the Lord built us up to be able to withstand persecution, hatred, the friction that comes with being a vessel of light in darkness. The Lord built us up to that. But we got to trust in His training. We got to trust in His wisdom. We got to trust in the strength that He bestowed in us. And we do that by overcoming in situations that I was just like what I was just speaking on, We're not to seek our own vengeance. We're to let the Lord handle it. And that's the big takeaway from here. Because I was mad enough to the point where, I could have put hands on dude. Not to say I'm that type of person, anything like that. But, some people have you so mad. But, especially when you ain't do nothing to deserve it. And then what really had me mad more than anything in the situation, you had every chance. If you would have the dude that was in the store stealing, you would have been 100% right to talk to him how he was talking to me, but you ain't raised your voice to him, and that's what had me mad. But me, dude just made a purchase, just trying to get, get what I came for. You got a problem with me, and that's where my offense came from. That's what had me offended. Because what got you thinking you could talk to me like that? But just getting back on topic, we can't move according to the flesh because, that would have brought forth, there's no, the flesh Nothing righteous comes from the flesh or thinking carnally. So we gotta stay focused on the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushai and not go out handling things ourselves. Cause that's not trusting in the Lord. By letting the Lord deal with people who offend us, that's trusting in Him. That's keeping our foot. That's staying humble. That's showing patience. That's, and these are the fruits that we're to bring forth, the works, Cause we don't never know who's watching. Somebody you walk by when you on the highways and byways teaching, they see you arguing with Habibi in the store. Now they looking at you. Ain't no man in the Lord. He go in the store call. Cause they don't, somebody on the outside looking in. They don't know who's right and who's wrong in the situation. It all the more reason to maintain our spiritual composure, cause that fractures, our spiritual image, so to speak. Our reputation. When we move contrary to the Lord's spirit. Oh, you a man of the Lord, but you end up beating on Habibi, or whatever the case may be. Especially when we're facing persecution because of our servitude to the Lord. We have on that covering. We got nothing to gain, everything to lose by moving according to the flesh, at least. But just to get into the lesson, I'm going to start at Matthew 18:3. And this is Yahushua speaking. And verily I say unto you, except ye be converted and become as little children, ye shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven. Whoso therefore shall humble himself as this little child, the same is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. And whoso shall receive one such little child in my name receiveth me. So when we repented to Yahweh Shem Yahushai, we were adopted back into the family, so to speak, spiritually. We became little children. We became children of the Lord, children of the day. The Lord converted us. He changed us from a carnal mindset to a spiritual mindset. A man of this world unto a man after the Lord's heart. We turn back from the worldly paths, whatever that may have been for whoever listening, to get on the path paid for us by Yahweh Shem Yahushai. And in doing so, we created a relationship with the Lord in doing so. And us being the children of the Lord, He loves us. He loves and protects us spiritually the same way, well, physically too, but it's from a spiritual aspect. But He protects us through the spirit the same way a father in this world protects his children. Whoso therefore shall humble himself as a little child, the same is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. And whoso shall receive one such little child in my name receiveth me. So us being of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, we're to remain in a humble spirit, And that spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushai keeps us humble. Because we're showing ourselves worthy of Him by maintaining our composure when tested. Showing that we're worthy of Him. Yahushua didn't get mad when He got ran up on by the soldiers that came to arrest Him. He said, you wouldn't be here if my Father had sent me. And that's the mindset we're to be in, man. This temptation, this situation, I wouldn't be in this, if the Lord didn't, put it on my path. The Lord tested me. I gotta, overcome this through His Spirit, because that's the only way we can overcome these obstacles that He puts on our path. It's like we're in a spiritual boot camp, man. The Lord building us up. And we're in the furnace of adversity, man. We're going to go through it whether we want to or not. So, overcome. And we can only do so being in a humble spirit. We can't do so being proud, aggressive, defensive. We can't be like, in the mindset of being a tough guy. Because that's not the spirit of the Lord, That's moving carnally. We can't be proud again, Matthew 18:6. But whoso shall offend one of these little ones which believe in me, it were better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck, and that he were drowned in the depth of the sea. So as servants of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, again, we're going to face all types of persecution, hatred. It's friction. But we're to govern ourselves according to the Spirit and let the Lord handle it. Again. Because you see what the Lord said, it'd be better for him. This Yahushai speaking. It'd be better for him. He put that millstone around his neck and jumped in the river, the sea. That's how bad he done messed up. And just being in this walk, as long as I've been in it, I done seen enough of people offending me and the Lord dealing with it and me being upset and seeing the Lord up there must have been 10 times as mad as I was based off how he dealt with that person. You know, it's best to just let the Lord handle it. Not that we want to see our people, you know, dealt with, but more often than not, it be on some old, I done forgot about the situation. I done forgot you even offended me. The Lord been dealing with you, done brought you back round, and it be like, oh my goodness. And that's how much love the Lord has for us. That's why I'm saying all that. So by the Lord loving us so much, we're to call on him and take our problems to him, showing that we trust in him. He said he got our back. He said if you offend one of his little ones that believe in him, it'd be better. That's, you know, that's worse than death. Because you put a millstone around your neck and you jump in the sea, that's death. And the Lord said that's better for you. Because the Lord going to take you through that. He the king of terrors. All the more reason to keep our composure, man. We ain't got to do nothing to avenge ourselves. The Lord's vengeance outweighs anything that we can do to avenge ourselves. Moral to the story. There was nothing I could have did in the stove, you know, I'll say to redeem myself. Because it's like, I didn't need redemption. It even got to the point in the store, I ain't trying to argue with dude for real. You know, I kind of did, you know, that's, you know, not supposed to do that. But, you know, I kind of did. I caught myself, but, you know, I started to, you know. But, it got to the point, I'm like, bro, I don't even care, bro. I could use another Type-C charger, bro. I just need a charger to charge my phone. My phone dead, man. I will buy another charger, no problem. He's so mad. He telling me get out the store. Like, again, like I'm the person in wrong. Like I did something to deserve all this that he was doing. But it's okay. You know? We maintain our composure. You let the Lord judge. You know, the Lord sat on his throne judging. You know, this is scripture. The Lord is only going to justify the right party. But he's not going to justify, you know, it could be two wrong parties. You could be right for being mad, but how you move according to that is where how the Lord going to deal with you. You know, you sow to the flesh, you're going to reap corruption. And our work, we can't allow our works to be corrupted, you know. All this work we do striving to righteousness, a moment like that will corrupt all those works. We're to maintain our, you know, stay spiritually minded, move accordingly. And I'm gonna touch up on that real quick. Our works being corrupted. Cause that's what's, you know, these are the things, you know, this is what's liable to happen in situations like this. We allow ourselves to move according to the flesh. 1 Corinthians 15:33, be not deceived. Evil communications corrupt good manners. So we can't allow adverse situations to cause us to move contrary to the Lord's Spirit. Ultimately, at the end of the day, forget everything else. Forget your face card. Forget everything we have to lose in this world, so to speak, man. Salvation on the line. Our spiritual integrity is on the line. Our reputation with the Lord is on the line, you know. Our relationship with the Lord, you know. Because you can do something so foul, dirty, the Lord cut you off from it. Oh, no, you ain't going to be repping me doing that, you know. The Lord has a standard that he holds us to. We're to be, uphold that standard. Be not deceived. We can't let the flesh cause us to move contrary to the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah. Because then there's, like I said, man, thoughts come to your mind in situations like that of what you want to do. And even that's wicked, but these are thoughts that need to be purged from my mind. Evil communication corrupt good manners. So whether it be you literally out there bickering with somebody, going back and forth with them, whether it be you out here taking vengeance or carrying yourself to where you feel like somebody wouldn't try you some type of way, that corrupts your good works. That corrupts the spirit within. So we can't allow people to pull us into the gutter with them. Because, the Lord told us to rise and depart from this place. It's not our rest. It's polluted. And it'll destroy us with a store of destruction, We can't allow these people to, to throw mud on us. Cast not thy pearls unto swine. Even if it's just your spiritual man being, somebody trying you according to the spirit, or talking negatively about you for serving the Lord. Matthew 7:17. Even so, every good tree bringeth forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree bringeth forth evil fruit. A good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit, neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. Every tree that bringeth not forth good fruit is hewn down and cast into the fire. So, we're of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, and every move we make should reflect that, being those good trees. Yahweh is the husbandman, Yahweh Shai is the vine, and we're branches. So, us being branches of the good tree, we're bringing forth good fruit, good works, especially in situations like that. We're to be examples of the Lord's Spirit, because we're constantly being examined. If we allow situations like that to corrupt our works, corrupt our fruit, we'll be found worthy of judgment and not salvation. Which is why it's so important to maintain your spiritual composure. Sirach 2:1. My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. Set thy heart aright and constantly endure, and make not haste in times of trouble. Cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end. The Lord is building us up spiritually, and he puts us in adverse situations to show the strength and wisdom that he bestowed upon us. But it's up to us to trust in him and move accordingly. We have to be mentally prepared to serve the Lord, mentally and spiritually prepared to serve the Lord. I mean, that too, but prepared for temptation, attacks, to be tried. We have to set our heart aright and constantly endure, man. Like I said, man. And it's so crazy, because after I left that store, I jumped on the bus, went on about my day. I go in the corner store going home, man. Somebody in the other store done got on me, man. And it ain't nothing God did, but people just be feeling how they be feeling for whatever reason. But by that time, man, I had already done rebuked my whatever spirit I was in to, let that man call me to slip up right quick. And I just thought it was funny. By that time, man, I just thought it was funny, man. I just want my coffee so I can go home, man. I don't want no smoke, whatever. But getting back to the point, we got to be in the mindset of soldiers, so to speak, because we're on the spiritual battlefield. We're fighting the fight of faith. We got to be prepared at a moment's notice. We can't be caught unawares. The Lord made us watchmen into the house of Israel. If we can't watch over our own selves, we can't govern our own spirit, how we going to lead our people to the Lord? You don't want to be seen as a hypocrite. You saying this, but you turn around and do that. Which is why we can't make haste in times of trouble. If we make haste, we're moving according to the flesh. We're taking matters into our own hands. We're not putting it in the hands of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. And like I said earlier, man, vengeance is, There's nothing, we can't do nothing that the Lord can't do. The Lord the Lord put us to shame. What he'll do, we think we could do a little something. Nah. The Lord created, he's the creator. He's the king of terrors. There's nothing we can do to outweigh anything the Lord can do. Let him handle that. That's why we bring it to him. Showing that we trust in him to handle that. To guide us through it, if nothing else. Again, we don't pray, for people to get caught up, messed up, whatever, But we ask the Lord to, rectify the situation. And that's the mindset we're to be in, man. We're trying to keep the peace. Staying in that mindset bestowed upon us by Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Cleaving to him and departing out of the way. We can't allow these people to snatch the light of the Lord. I mean, his wisdom out of the forefront of our minds. Because they got something going on. Nothing should be able to separate us from the love of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. And when we allow ourselves to move according to the flesh, that's what happens. Because moving according to the flesh bring forth works of the flesh. Salakia. But Romans 12:17, recompense to no man evil for evil. Provide things honest in the sight of all men. If it be possible, as such lieth in you, live peaceably with all men. Dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath, for it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, saith Yahweh. We can't allow Salakia. But we can't allow those of this world to pull us out of our righteous state of mind, because that's the only way they can fight us. If we maintain our spiritual composure, we keeping our peace, this, that, and the third. Like I said, somebody on the outside looking in see somebody going crazy, going nuts, this, that, and the third, and they see somebody, and even if they don't think nothing else of it, they shouldn't be thinking nothing crazy about you. And that's where it comes from, especially with being of the Lord, man. This truth got to be blameless. People will see us in the store and we not moving according to the Lord's Spirit, they'll be like, "Oh, there go the Israelites out here causing problems in the Shell gas station." Nah, man, that's not the reputation we're. We're ambassadors of the Lord's Spirit. We put on for Him no matter where we go. Even if people don't know we're of the Lord, man, we're of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. We're to move accordingly, but we move according to that flesh. Oh, well, you move according to that flesh, man. You in their room. Yeah, because they of this world. Yeah, they like rolling around in mud and filth. That's their playground. We done arose and departed for that. We can't allow it. And, these are some of the ways we get pulled back into the world. Out of that righteous state of mind, These are ways we get pulled back into the world. That's why we don't recompense no man evil for evil. Provide all things honest in the sight of men. If it be possible, as such lieth in you, live peaceably with all men. Dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath, for it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, saith the Lord. Had to read it again right quick, because regardless of the situation, we're to either strive for peace or remove ourselves altogether. Nowhere in the scripture, the scripture does say, how many times should you turn the other cheek? Until 7 times, neighbor, 7 times, You can sit there and get tried as long as you want to, but if you can remove yourself, why are you sitting there making yourself vulnerable? Because that's what happens. The longer you sit there, the longer eventually you going to just snap. Because we in this flesh, man, we can't take but so much. As long as we move according to the Lord's Spirit, we'll be straight. We're vulnerable when we step outside of that, man. We are weak. So we're to keep our peace, try to live peaceably among everybody. No matter if you at your job, just on the bus, in the store, It don't matter. The Lord loves us. Anybody attacks us, they attacking him. He said dearly beloved. He ain't say servant. He ain't say, he said dearly beloved. Recompense. Oh, hold on. It's like, well, still, but avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath. For it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, saith Yahweh. Not saith Paul, not saith, this out the Lord's mouth. Oops. 2 Timothy 1:7. For Yahweh have not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. As long as we abide by the Spirit, we have everything we need to endure and overcome. The Lord will give us the power that we need to overcome that situation. We'll be able to make, we'll do everything we can to keep the peace. We won't be in a aggressive. We won't, allow ourselves to get into an aggressive mindset. And we'll stay level-headed through that situation so we can hear the voice of the Lord, so we can ponder on the things that he taught us, the wisdom and strength that he bestowed upon us to be able to overcome situations like that. There's no temptation that is not coming to man. The Lord won't put nothing on us that we can't bear. So the Lord put you in a situation like that. He didn't already made sure you can overcome it. But you gotta on your end, our end, this carnal side, the physical side, we have to abide by these things. You can't cast them away. If we respond carnally, we're moving in fear, not faith. Regardless, or if you just it all just happens so fast, how people like to say, or whether the wisdom of the Lord did pop up in your mind and you just pushed it aside. You're moving according to fear. You feel like you have to defend yourself. You feel like you're in danger. But the Lord told us to be harmless as doves and wiser than serpents. So we're not supposed to go out here defending ourselves, being aggressors, anything like that, And we're not to be pushovers either. If somebody's physically attacking you, you're to defend yourself. But if we're moving carnally, we feel like the Lord's not going to protect us, whether it's consciously or unconsciously. And that's not the spirit of the Lord. So moving in fear is moving contrary to the Lord. Moving carnally is moving contrary to the spirit of the Lord. Salaki for the pause. Matthew 5:10. Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake. Rejoice and be exceedingly glad, for great is your reward in heaven. For so persecuted they the prophets which were before you. So when people rise up against us, especially when we're doing the Lord's work, because that's what this one's talking about, persecuted for righteousness' sake. So again, when people come up against us, they make they rise up to contend against us. We'll remember that the Lord is constantly testing us. The Lord, he wants to see us move according to the wisdom that he instilled in us. He wants to see us overcome through his spirit, because that boosts our faith in him. The more we allow him to pull us through situations like that. And us being persecuted for righteousness' sake shows that we're of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. us being favored by him, because the word blessed just means to be favored. You know, you go talk to people of this world, they think it's some type of spiritual enchantment. The Lord done bumped your sliders all the way up, so to speak. For those of y'all who play 2K or video games in general, they think you got to, in a sense you do, but they're thinking about it from a witchcraft standpoint, versus we know that being blessed just means being favored of the Most High. Yeah, we're favored by the Most High because we're of His Spirit, by following after His Spirit. And we can't allow those of the world to trample over that, pull us away from that. We can't be gaslit out the truth. We can't allow ourselves to be outsafe. We got to focus on the reward on the latter end, obtaining salvation. For theirs is the kingdom of heaven. We're striving on the righteous path. We're on the straight, getting our way. We're doing the things we're supposed to do. And like I said, man, this work is laborious. We go too hard for Yahweh Shem Yahushua day in and day out for our works to be corrupted because somebody want to offend us. Like I said, man, like it's some righteous works supposed to come from this. But I'm going to get one more precept and I'm going to close this out. And go to Exodus 14 and 13, which says, Moses said unto the people, fear ye not, stand still, and see the salvation of Yahweh, which he will show to you this day, or today. For the Egyptians whom ye have seen today, shall ye never see. Salaki, ye shall. I'm gonna start over. What's going on with me? Exodus 14 and 3, and Moses said 13. We're gonna start over one more time. What can you read all of a sudden? Exodus 14 and 13, and Moses said unto the people, fear ye not, stand still, and see the salvation of Yahweh, which he will show to you this day. Show you today. For the Egyptians whom ye see today, ye shall never see them again. You shall see them. I don't know why I keep messing up around that part. Ye shall see them again no more forever. Yahweh shall fight for you, and ye shall hold your peace. Salakia, bro. Salakia. But the Lord split the Red Sea to ensure our deliverance from Egyptian captivity. So there's no reason for us to not trust in him. Moses was telling the people, stand still and see, man. The Lord about to make it happen for us. That's an individual showing for faith. Because, the scripture before that goes how, cause we were being pursued. We had just fled from Egypt, and that Passover coming up. It's time to start getting in that mindset, man. Escaping this place. But our people, they see They see in the Egyptians coming after them, man. It would have been better if we stayed. They're showing faith as individuals. But Moses, he telling them, man, the Lord got us. And that's the mindset we're to be in. When the enemy comes in rushing as a flood, whatever the case may be, whatever going on, whatever adverse situation you may be in. There's no reason for the Lord not trusting, for us to not trust in the Lord, I'll say. So what I was supposed to say. We're to keep our peace, abide by the Lord's word, and let the Lord handle up on his end. The Lord gonna fight for us. We're to hold our peace. Now, there will come a time where we're gonna be that battle axe, that weapon of warfare, but waiting on Yahushua to rise to the prey. The Lord didn't give us the powers to and then even then it's still not gonna be our anger. We're gonna be judging the nations according to the Lord's anger, not our own. We got to stay in that humble spirit, because who are we to take matters into our own hands? We're servants. You know, we can't make no business calls out here. You know, we can't, you know, change the season, do this, that, and the third, take matters in our own hands. We don't call players around here. We servants, not the masters. The Lord sent them to us to test us, to see how we going to respond to that. And if you think you can handle this yourself, the Lord going to let you. But you just going to fall. And let's say even if I did would have, you know, acted according to my mindset, my fleshly mindset, you know, a just man falls 7 times, but he rises up again. But who's not to say there's so much that could have happened, you know? And if you're not covered by the Spirit of the Lord, man, anything could have happened. And we in this flesh, we're not perfect. But, you know, your salvation on the line, man. The Lord said, hold your peace, man. Hold your peace. Can't let nobody move you out the Spirit of the Lord. Recompense to no man evil for evil again. Make not haste in times of trouble. I said, the topic of let's go be not offending the Lord, those of the Lord, but I'm thinking more of a keeping of peace. Yeah, hold your peace. I'm thinking more so hold your peace now. Cause that's really what we're to do, hold our peace. Let the Lord fight for us. The Lord said, fear not thou worrying worm Jacob, for I shall help thee. The Lord's not one to lie. He gonna help us. But, you know, he not gonna come when we want him according to the flesh, man. He not gonna handle that speedily. You know, the Lord's timing, not our timing. The Lord check us off, you know, grade us, you know, according to our righteousness and how we handle our situation. He'll get to dealing with them and you won't see it. You don't know what the Lord got in store for that person. The Lord might just want to get up on them. He just use you to get on them. But you don't want to get got on too. Well, that's before I start rambling, I'm going to go ahead and close it out. Y'all rock this out. This was Edifying. And until the next time, I'm going to say shalom.